the channel. Today we're picking corn. I'm gonna walk out here. Paul's on the combine right there. Boo-Boo's on the grain cart. We're only running one grain cart and one combine today because the other combine we're running is broke down. Today is Saturday afternoon and no repairs made on Saturday afternoon. No parts. So I'm gonna get up here and ride with Paul and show you a little bit of this action. All right, I made it up in the cab. Looking through the glass here, a little bit dirty, but Paul's about to finish unloading here, his hopper load here on Boo-Boo. And we got a field of corn across the ditch there where my pickup truck is sitting. But won't get to it until next week sometime. All right, here we go. S790 John Deere, 12-row head. And turn your wipers on, Paul, so we can get a little bit of that dust off. I made a little bit of difference. Yeah. But a lot of things happening up there real fast. What's going on here is you got some little corkscrews up in the front of these shafts that's got blades on it that's turning. One's turning clockwise, the other one's turning counterclockwise, and when the stalk comes in, the little curly cues, they pull it in, make sure it gets on this in the center of the row, and pulls it back, and then it snatches that stalk down. Just snatches it, and that's doing so fast you can't really see it, and there's some what we call deck plates down there, snapping plates, and the stalk is about, I don't know, about 3/4 inch in diameter, and the ear is probably 4 inches in diameter. So the stalk can go through it, but the ear, when it bumps on the plates, it pops off. And we got some chains, gathering chains coming around on both sides of that one row there. Each row's the same, and it pulls the ear corn onto the back. And then a big auger screwing one from the far right back to the center, far left back to the center, and going into the throat of the combine where it does its thing. Well, basically what it's doing is going through a thrashing machine, and it's taking all the kernels off the cob, and that separates it. The kernel being the heavy part of the thrashing, the cob and the husk, the leaves and all being the light part. So the fan blows up through it, but they set the fan at the right speed so it blows the light stuff off the top to another level, and it kicks it out the back. And the heavy stuff, which is the corn, the kernel of corn, it falls to the bottom into some augers and augers it to the bin. Paul's been out here pretty much all day. We're running along here about 4.5 miles an hour. Picking right now in 185 bushel corn, which is not setting the world on fire, but still it's better than it was last year with the drought we had. I'll step outside, show you this right here a little better. What I just showed you was a little better picture of the stalk snatching down and the ears popping off. And also I showed you the back of the machine where all the lighter material, stalk, leaves, the shucks and all kicking out the back, spreading it out evenly across the field. All right. Boo-Boo's come up beside us here, and we're transferring the grain over on the grain cart. You need to come over this way a little bit. This works pretty good as long as the field is stiff enough to hold the grain cart up. Sometimes the field's getting so wet that he'll go to spinning when he gets full like that, and it just causes a mess. Okay. Boo-Boo should see that and get out of the way, but he's doing his own thing. Old corn stalks laying on the field in between the rows. That was from last year. We strip tilled this field and left the residue on top of the ground. All right, here we go. Start the auger back up. Truck. I'll show you this right here, right behind Paul. Got a glass that leads in between the cab and the grain tank. There's the corn coming in the grain tank. Now don't take it long for corn. We're picking about 200 bushel corn now. And fills up the window pretty quick, as you see. And there's Boo-Boo in the distance, way off of there. He's over there on the rock road, headed back up to the trucks, that you might can see in the distance there. Got 2 trucks there waiting on us. Actually, there's 3 trucks up there, but two different varieties here. This is a shorter variety, and the next 12 rows over there would be a taller variety. They could be the same brand. Aren't they both Pioneers?
No, this is Pioneer, that's decaf.
All right, this is the Pioneer here, Paul says, and the decaf over there is a little bit taller, and that normally is a little bit odd for the hybrids, because normally the decaf is a shorter corn, but in this case it stops it. But really, the height of the corn doesn't necessarily dictate the yield bushels per acre you're going to get off of it.
Pioneer yields better.
But Paul says in this particular field, the Pioneer is yielding better than the decaf. But we're in about 180 to 190 bushel corn here, and over there is a little over 200. You know, picking corn is probably one of the more enjoyable jobs on a farm, providing the corn is good and it's clean. So as far as no vines, no big weeds and that kind of thing. But right the opposite, when you do get into a bunch of morning glories, particularly in our area, I mean, it's probably the worst job in the world, because you have to hop down, turn the machine off naturally, but hop down, stand on those snouts, snatch the vines from around the auger. The auger gets entangled with the vines, and boy, that is a job. Those green vines, you can't hardly break them with your hand. A lot of times we use a knife to cut them, and just, I mean, it's just the best thing to do is stay out of them if you got a lot of them, and spray them and kill them, or either wait until the frost kills them. But the frost around here will not kill them till around the end of October, 1st of November in that area at the best. So a lot of times we don't want to wait that long, so we'll spray them and try to get rid of them. And there's some morning glories right there. See those vines? They're coming. They climb right up the road right there. And as long as there's just a few of them, they're not a problem. But they can canopy from the top of the corn all the way across, and the weight of the green vines in the morning glories, they'll just weight it down and break it down, and then when you try to pick through it, the vines have entangled each stalk. So once you start dragging the morning glories to you and wrapping it around your auger, it just drags the whole conglomerate stalks, ears and all, and that combine cannot handle that. So that is a massive problem when it gets to that point. You see here, we got Boo Boo on the grain cart. I'm actually on the other grain cart now, trying to speed Paul up a little bit so we don't have to wait for it to unload. And there's Paul picking, Boo Boo on the grain cart. The old man sitting here following both along. Looks good though. Everything seems to be going pretty good right here at this moment. at the truck unloading the smaller grain cart I had. I watch it trying to fill up, and it's almost there. And when I start seeing it piling up, I ease right forward, and it's almost there. Here we go. There you go. Pull up just a little bit. This dump trailer's got some tall sides, about 6 inches taller than normal, so you can't fill it all the way to the top. It'll be too much weight. Going down in the wind in my grain cart. I got a little lever up there. I'm gonna bring my auger down a little bit, tilt it down, let it hit the middle of the trailer. There it is, piling up again. So I'm gonna ease forward. That's pretty much it. I only had enough for about a half a load. So I pulled away from the trailer here, and I'm going to put my auger back down. I don't like to leave it out because you'll hit something if you're not careful, especially when you're working around the edge of the woods or something. Let me show you this right here. I'm gonna show you a Paul out there picking. See the lights flashing? And they're off. That means he's 3/4 full when they start flashing. See the flashing again? Now they're off. But that lets the grain cart driver know that how full he is. Of course, you can see it in the top of it too, but at night you won't be able to see it. But they're light indicators to let the grain cart driver know he needs to hurry up and get there. Or if they're not flashing, so where I got a little time, I don't have to rush so hard. So pretty neat little feature that's on combines. Guys, I'm going to close this corn picking video out this afternoon. I'm going to show you this right here. I'm actually riding beside Paul. He's picking and unloading on me. Got Boo Boo coming in here to take my place here whenever I get full. Over on my left here. A lot of action in front of that header right there. As you look at these drone shots here of the mill where we're delivering the corn, this is Nash Johnson's facility, and they make feed for chickens. And I'm actually a grower of the chickens that they feed out. And good company. We've been with them a long time. My daddy started growing turkeys with Nash Johnson's back in the 60s, 62 or 63 it was. So we've been in the poultry business a long time with Nash, and they're expanding the facility as we film today. You can see the new silos in the back, and they're coming up with some more silos. That's continuous build process. And as you come around to the front of it, I wanted to show you the name of the mill, Big Ed. And that was Marvin Johnson's son, oldest son, and there was Diane and Bob and Mariana Johnson, and 4 children, but they honored their older brother, Ed, with naming the facility Big Ed. And I remember Big Ed personally. A fun-loving guy, real nice, outgoing, just like the whole family, absolutely. Amazing guy. And I think about it a lot whenever I ride by and see that name up there, like many people do. It's an iconic structure in the county. So just a little history on the Big Ed feed mill. Okay, guys, appreciate you watching the channel. Keep it up with Henry. I'll see you on the next video. Take care.